Hello, hello. Coming to you straight from Negril, Jamaica. By now, through your entrepreneurial journey, I'm sure that you've heard either a fellow entrepreneur, a influencer, or some other business guru tell you that you may expense your vacation and or mix business with pleasure. And you're probably wondering, or have wondered, are they pulling a fast one on you? Do they know something that you just don't know? Is it too good to be true? So stay tuned to find out. Thank you again for joining us here at Core Business TV, where we help entrepreneurs move from side hustle to biz. I am Amber, one of your hosts, not your average accountant and enrolled agent. So, today's topic, mixing business with pleasure. Is it even a thing? Can you do both? And if you do both, can you write it off? And in short, the answer is yes. The IRS, however, does have very strict requirements in order to make that possible. In part one, I will address the rules in high level. In part two of mixing business with pleasure, I will give more specific examples. These examples will be based off of my current travel to Jamaica. So, jumping right into it, mixing business with pleasure. What are the rules? One, your travel must be mostly business. For domestic travel, the IRS counts your days or your time away in a matter of days. So majority of your days, meaning if it's a 5 day trip, 4 out of those 5, 3 out of those 5 must be conducting business. For international travel, the requirement is 25% or more of your time needs to be business related or conducting business activity that is specific to your business. Okay. Number two, the trip needs to be ordinary and necessary. Now, this is subjective. Well, actually, all of it is subjective, to be honest with you, meaning that it is specific to your industry. So, for instance, say you are a blogger and you decide, I want to travel to Miami to do my blog. I need a time away. The states are open. Travel seems to be loosening up a little bit. I'm going to travel to Miami. Does that count as business travel? And can you deduct it? So, although you may be going to Miami to, to do your blog, if your blog related material is not specific to Miami or your reasons for being in Miami, you're going to have a very hard time defending the expenses related to you traveling to Miami. You could have very well done those things at your state of residence. Three, the trip and the specifics of the trip need to be planned ahead. Okay. The IRS, in the event that they are requiring you to defend your travel, will request an extensive list of documents. They want to see emails, they want to see receipts, they want to see all the planning that you did prior to making this trip. And it also goes to support whether or not it was necessary and ordinary for your business, and that most of your time was spent conducting business. So, simple for instance here, say you are thinking about becoming a wholesaler, and therefore you're looking for suppliers for your business, right? To become a wholesaler. If you make connections with suppliers prior to your trip, therefore you know who you're seeing, when you're seeing them, um, what it is that you're looking to discuss, the products that you're looking at, that's pre-planned. However, if you show up at the place and just say, you know what, I'm going to figure this out as I go, was it really needed for your business? Could you have done that somewhere else? Could you have browsed the internet to to make those connections? You have not done the necessary footwork to justify the cost associated with the travel. And this is exceptionally important for my travel advisors out there, travel agents, travel advisors who are doing familiarization trips, fans. It is essential that you do all of your planning prior to leaving. If this is a self-guided fam, or this is a fam that is specific to a supplier, a vendor, or even your host agency if you're working with one, you must have all of that stuff documented beforehand. And I want to give you a little nugget here. None of your fams, none of your trips that are related to familiarization is for education. Hear me and hear me closely. Education is not a defense for travel. Although you're getting educated, it is not a defense that the IRS accepts for travel. Number 4, under no circumstances may you deduct the expenses related to bringing your family and your friends along. If they are not part of your business ordinarily and necessarily, their expenses are not a write-off for you. Even if they joined you, it's not a write-off for you. For all of my savvy people out there, please do not create a contractor position, 1099, for the people who are traveling with you and state that it is necessary and ordinary because you're paying them or you are paying for their travel. Please don't do it. I've seen it happen, and I'm saying don't do it. Now, to the things that you can deduct within your travel expenses. 1, transportation from beginning to end of the trip. So this means transportation from your home or your place of work to the airport and from the airport back. It is even argued that the lodging for the vehicle, if that is what you need to do, will count for that as well. Your Ubers, your rental car, your chauffeur, however you want to do it, right? If it is, again, necessary, ordinary, and related to that travel, you can expense it. Baggage fees for your travel. So for instance, some of our travel advisors out there, you may have swag bags that you are traveling with and you don't have the allowance on your airline ticket, and therefore this is an additional cost. You can expense that cost so you don't have to worry about it. Laundry and dry cleaning while you're traveling. Although this is not, on average, an expense that you can take during normal business, when you are traveling, it's a whole different situation. Okay. Of course, you can deduct your accommodations and then meals for your business travel. Now, this one comes up a lot, and let me tell you that meals are highly scrutinized with the IRS. Sorry, there was a bug. I'm outside. Okay. No matter what, 50% of your meals are deductible. And let me tell you that they must be business-related meals. As always, it must be related and relevant to business. So you can't wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to go out for a lobster dinner and nothing else follows, and just say I'm going to do that as a business expense. It doesn't fly that way. However, if you're on conference and you need to take a meal, that is debatable, right? 50% of that meal you're during a conference, you need to eat. It is business related. Okay. Now down to what you may not deduct. Tours, excursions, and entertainment. Those are considered personal expenses. The exception is if that is indeed your business, right? You conduct tours, or you escort people on tours and excursions. Um, that's about it. I'm over here trying to think like, are there any other exceptions? Probably not at all. These things are highly scrutinized too, and the IRS will be all on it to make sure that they are ordinary and necessary for your business, that you're just not creating a reason for it. And so here's the thing: what is not considered ordinary and necessary anymore is to provide entertainment to win over a client. Two, again, and I think I mentioned this before, your family and friends. Your family and friends are not something that you can deduct. Their expenses are their expenses and their expenses alone. If they are not an ordinary, necessary part of your business, you may not deduct their expenses. Now, again, there are some exceptions to rules, meaning where you can potentially offset some of their expenses based off of your expenses. And one of the main things would be if, say, your significant other, your spouse, a very close friend of yours join you at a conference and they are staying in the same room as you. I mean, this happens. They're not paying you to stay in that room. They're just simply joining you. However, you had to pay for that hotel room anyway. It is still your business expense. Number 3, and this is to piggyback off of family and friends, and offsetting costs. You may not deduct 100% of costs you did not pay for. Meaning, if you receive some form of reimbursement, you can't deduct the full amount. You may deduct 100% of what you actually paid for. So one of the examples I can give is you and a colleague in the same industry, you're at a conference, and you decide that you're going to share the room. Your colleague gives you 50% for the accommodations, you pay 50%. Therefore, the both of you, for your business expense, may take 100% of the 50% that you paid. Granted, that is a qualified expense, and that's for everything, down to food, transportation. You may only deduct 100% of qualified expenses that you've actually paid for. Feeling encouraged? I surely hope so. As I mentioned before, part 2, we'll take a deeper dive into mixing business with pleasure, providing examples, and these examples will be specific off of my current travel from Pennsylvania to Atlanta to Jamaica and back. Until then, thank you for tuning into Core Biz U. I am your host, Amber, not your average accountant and enrolled agent. We want to see you prosper and stay safe.